Explain to the people kind of who you are and what you do.
Checking out real estate, keeping an eye on the market, anything
What
I
the
need
fuck?
to do
What
for my
is
rental
this? Like,
property.
what is this
So,
guy
I still spend
talking
time,
about?
Like, every morning I wake up, usually I'll just open my eyes at 6:30.
I wake up with my eyes open every day too.
Yeah.
Okay.
You'd
So gonna start OnlyFans. Like, I think that's being a pimp.
just do it. I like it.
Do you have to, like, brush your teeth?
I probably should. Sometimes you're not in the mood. What's up, guys? Today we have to do the 5 bet.
Don't talk. You know?
Wow.
Do you watch yourself?
Yeah. It's David Dobrik that I learned that from.
I don't know if I like that.
Never went to college.
What the fuck? What is this? What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Don't Be Sour, the most financially savvy podcast in the world, with none other than the most financially successful, cheapest person on YouTube, Graham Stephan. What's up, man?
Thanks, man. Thanks so much for doing this. You came bright and early. Really appreciate this.
This is the first time I've ever done. When I built my studio out, I was like, everyone's going to come to me in Houston. I realized that's not always feasible, which I'm sure you're probably learning as you expand the podcast out. But we're doing it on Graham's set, the iced coffee hour, with and you do this with your buddy Jack.
Yeah.
You have like your whole team and everything, right?
Yeah, well, it's Jack and Alex. We also have one of Jack's good friends, Andrew, also editing the podcast as well. So, we got a good, tight team.
Well, thanks for letting me come onto your show. It's gonna be kind of weird interviewing you in your environment, but I'm excited, man.
Yeah.
To explain to the people kind of who you are and what you do. If you were like, I always say, like, if you're in an Uber and someone's just like, hey, like, what do you do?
I just tell people I do real estate.
So you don't even bring up YouTube?
No, because then it comes up with a whole bunch of questions, and then it's always like, well, type in your channel, and and then it just leads to a whole bunch of stuff.
They're always like, hey, I'll subscribe. Like, unless you're gonna watch the videos, like, don't subscribe. You're just gonna mess up my ratio. Kind of going on. Yeah,
it's almost uncomfortable though for me to tell people what I do now, unless they're under the age of 35 and they understand YouTube.
Yeah,
because people don't understand it, and I'd rather just keep it simple.
I was doing the sun buggy, like dune buggies, yesterday. And there was a guy that worked there that said he was going to start YouTube. This guy had to been in his like late 50s. So he was going to start YouTube, but his idea was also going to start OnlyFans, and he was going to get like 30 girls, start a bar, and have every girl work for OnlyFans, and he was going to like take a cut. I was like, I think that's being a pimp.
Well, it could be profitable. I don't know.
And he was asking about YouTube. He's like, how many subscribers do you need to make money from it? And I was like, that's a really loaded question, man. He's like, like 1,000 subscribers, then could I start making a living? I'm like, it's a very loaded question.
No, you just gotta say somewhere on there.
So you don't
just
even
agree. Yeah.
So I would consider you more of a YouTuber now than like
at this point, yeah. I mean, I still spend a lot of time, whether it be checking out real estate, keeping an eye on the market, anything I need to do for my rental property. So I still spend time on real estate, but like mentally, my focus is just, I'm always thinking like algorithm. It's always algorithm for me.
Well, yeah, because even this episode, we're filming this at 7:30 in the morning on a Friday. Yep. And you were like, so first of all, you're really hard to get in contact with.
I just stopped responding to messages.
You're like,
I'm really bad at that.
I was like, I've been following you for like a long time.
Yeah.
So I've been following you since you used to almost kind of make little vlogs back in the day. You would film with your Lotus. You would be driving, and you'd be like always parking on some cul-de-sac and something and filming.
Yeah, it's Mulholland Drive.
Yeah, and then you've expanded now into more like the sit down talking kind of videos, and it's cool to see your channel kind of expand. But like, you've been someone I've really wanted to get on the episode.
It's cool, yeah.
Yeah, and but like I became that annoying guy that I was like commenting on your videos. I was like, okay, he's got to like see it on there. I was like, okay, I'm a little verified YouTube guy, and then I would like DM you. I DM'd like your team and everything, and like I was like, no one is.
We get hundreds of messages a day.
You're popular.
So probably it could be even like some days if we post a story or something like that, it could be like 500 responses.
500?
Yeah.
You don't post that many stories, right? You're not like.
No, I try every day. Like every 24 hours, I'll have something on there. I think last night was the Liver King. But
do you treat social like a business now, rather than just like, hey, I'm showing people what I'm doing right now?
Yeah, I don't really check it. The only things I do check are Instagram stories, and then Be Real. I just like
what is that? That's a new app, right?
Yeah, I don't get these social media sites. Honestly, I thought TikTok was the stupidest thing in the world for a long time. I thought Instagram was stupid. YouTube was the only one I was like, oh no, I love YouTube. Yeah. But Be Real is something where you take a picture every 24 hours. It takes in front and in back, so it's like sees you and it sees like what your point of view is. You post it and it disappears after 24 hours.
I don't know if I like that. It's kind of like that. It's Casey Neistat that came out, that Beam thing.
Yeah,
which I didn't think was like the greatest idea. I mean, he sold it for a lot of money, and then they canned it. CNN bought it. Yeah, then they canned it, and then Instagram Stories has a there's a filter now that does that exact thing you're
mentioning.
They're
copying B-Reel because they're losing momentum to B-Reel.
Is that taking off?
Yeah, it got like 40 million downloads last month. Like it's the new rage. Everyone's doing it now. So I thought like, wow, I'm actually early to something. This is cool because most people have never heard of it. So,
yeah,
you know, if it turns into something, at least I got my foot in the door. I got my username on lock before someone else could take it.
I feel like, it's kind of like with TikTok. Is like you think it's dumb, but then everyone starts doing it, and you're like, I don't want to be like the last guy that like doesn't.
Yeah, that's usually me. So this time I'm early. This time I'm on it.
Well, yeah. So maybe after this, I'm gonna have to go download that.
Yeah.
And we have some of your coffee here.
Yes. Have you tried it yet? Or
I have not. I don't drink any coffee. My dad owned a coffee shop growing up. My brother's like a 2 coffee every day type of person. This is probably like the 11th coffee I've ever had in my entire life.
Wow.
I'm gonna try it out.
So it's a lot of pressure because this is like...
Explain what's in this.
So this is Bankroll coffee. I don't remember which one it is, but it's Bankroll with ice. Now, I make my coffee really strong.
Okay.
And this is like a organic creamer of some sort.
It tastes like coffee.
Yeah. So I like that, but it's... I just make it in such a way that it's not weak. It's like it's strong. No, I like that bold flavor.
I don't dislike coffee. Yeah. I just... Like now I have this coffee this taste in my mouth and it's just like lingering. Do you have like brush your teeth after you like drink coffee?
I probably should.
You drink energy drinks?
No.
What?
No.
You don't like the bubbles?
It's either water or coffee. That's it.
Strictly.
Yeah.
Do you drink alcohol?
No.
Not a drinker?
Nope.
And you're like my age. You're 30?
32.
32. Yeah. I just turned 33 like 4 days ago.
Wow. Yeah. How's that?
It sucks.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I feel it. I get up and I like crack my back and it's just like, it takes me a minute to get going.
You literally just like you break down every single day.
Yeah.
And so living in Vegas, or like you kind of live outside of Vegas, not in the strip. I'm here visiting for a festival, the Life is Beautiful festival. You're not like a big drinker? Have you ever been a drinker?
Nope. Well, I don't want to say big drinker, but like, when you're 21, 22, 23, it's like you'd go out with buddies. I'd never get a drink at the bar. I was always very prideful that...
What?
Yeah, so I was that guy where I thought it was more fun to go and like get a drink at the store, buy an entire bottle for like $10. You could split it between your friends. We would just, drink outside and then walk to the bar. And I would get a water. But I would never drink that much. Okay. But it's just like the idea of going to a bar and dropping like $15 to $20 on drinks just seems stupid to me. When you could buy the entire thing for, a fraction of that and split it. Yeah. So that's what we do.
I mean, at I'm staying at the Aria, and there we bought a bottle of tequila at the Walgreens just to kind of, I was like, oh, we don't have to get drinks. And it was like $30, this cheap bottle of tequila, so we can have some, we don't have to spend that much money when you go to like the pool bar. And you go to the pool bar, each drink is like $26.
Yeah.
2 drinks, you're already spending more than a whole bottle of tequila.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense to me. I mean, back then I could have a drink or two and be fine the next day, but it just like over time, the drinks really slowed me down the next day. And then when I started doing YouTube, it was really something where I had to think like, what am I doing the next day? Do I need to be 100%? I do. Is that drink going to put me at 90%? Well, that's going to kind of throw off my edge there. Do I really enjoy it that much to throw off my edge? No. So I just stopped.
Drinking is kind of one of those things that it's a whole lot of fun when you're doing it, but outside of that specific moment, trash.
Yeah. Someone explained it. I heard this somewhere that drinking is like using your energy on credit. In the sense that you have to pay it back plus interest the next day.
I could see that.
And so it's like you're borrowing more than you could just pay by not drinking.
Yeah, because if you go out heavy on a Saturday night, your Sunday's done. You're not being efficient at all that next day. It takes like a solid 24 hours to recover from a 4 to 6 hour outing.
I know. So that's why I hate the way it makes me feel the next day. So it's just. I stopped. I didn't have that much fun to ever make that next day worth it.
Okay. Yeah. So even when you go on dates and stuff, do you have a little cocktail, a little glass of wine?
No, I usually don't. If I do anything, I'll split a drink with Macy because
split one drink.
I'll split one drink with her because she'll usually want to get something, and I'll have a few sips of that.
So you share the glass. You don't say, "Can you bring 2 cups for the?"
No.
Okay.
I usually just take a few sips and that's it. But then even just at a few sips, I'm like, "What's the point?" But I do it just to be able to do it with her.
Waste of money, waste of calories. And you're like, if I'm not, I don't know if you'd say the benefit of drinking would be to get drunk, but I mean, that's probably the what people drink.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
And then it's
if you're
like,
not
well,
getting any of that.
yeah, then you may as well just have water.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. So not
but
a
I
big
feel so
drink-
much better. Yeah. I feel so much better just going cold turkey on that.
Not a big drinker in Vegas.
That's easy to do because I never go to the Strip.
You don't go?
No.
Not a big, definitely probably not a gambler.
I enjoy gambling. Of all the things, like,
What do you like to do?
Blackjack.
Okay.
I like blackjack, craps, and baccarat.
Why? I have my reasons of why I like blackjack the most. Why do you like the most?
I like the basic strategy. So I figure if I play smart, it's as close to 50-50 as you could get in the casino. Baccarat and craps, you could also do that. But I like those games because it's a 50-50.
Craps is 50-50?
Yeah.
That's the one where you're like,
throwing the dice. Yes.
How is that? I feel like that's the most. Yeah. I have no idea what's going to happen.
So you have what's called the pass line, and then you have odds behind it, and you go to the casinos that allow you to do like 5x odds or 10x odds, and when you do that, the house edge is like point something. I mean, it's really, really, really low. It's actually the lowest in the entire casino when you do maximum odds behind the pass line. Yeah. That's honestly like a true 50-50 bet. You find some of the casinos too, you have to go like way off the strip that might do like $10 craps with 10x odds. So the majority of your bet is just a 50-50.
I feel like blackjack is such a good one because, you just follow the book. You just follow the rules of how, like, if the cards are this, you should do this. If the dealer has this, you should assume that and do this. So I feel like it's like more, there's less strategy in it. It's like you just follow the rules and...
That's true, but then you get on these losing streaks where you have a 16, and it's like you're supposed to hit that 16 against that 7, and you just bust. You're one over, and you're like, I knew I shouldn't have hit that.
Yeah, with gambling, though, if you just keep gambling, you can win it all back.
I don't know about that.
If you're down, you just keep betting.
Keep doing it.
To win
I had a buddy that did that, believe it or not, and would just keep going back to the ATM, pulling out more money, would keep increasing his bets.
Well,
he'd usually make it back, but there's going to be that one time where he doesn't.
Okay, so not a drinker, not too much of a gambler. Right. You're a simple man these days. You're big into YouTube because even though you don't call yourself a YouTuber, you're a YouTuber.
Yeah. I guess
and when I hit you up about doing this podcast, you were like, yeah, if we can do it at 7:30 in the morning. And I was even like, hey, okay, I'll be like 7:15, like set up. You're like, no, don't even 7:30 because you don't need to set up. I was like, okay, all right, well 7:30. So your day is very structured, right?
It usually is, but it's last minute, and that's the thing. So like every morning I wake up, usually I'll just open my eyes at 6:30.
I wake up with my eyes open every day too.
Yeah, so I wake up with my eyes open and I check the market and I see what the market's doing, and that gives me an indication if I need to get out of bed that exact moment.
It's down again today if you wanted to know.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. But if I see it down more than like 2%, I'll look really quick and see if there's like a major reason that I could talk about that day. If it's just like a market sold off, just did its thing, then I'll be like, I'm going back to bed for an hour. I'll wake up at like 7:30. But if there's a reason, I just make sure my plans are open so that I could get a video out that same day. Because it takes 8 hours for me to get a video out.
Walk me through your day. Besides, wake up.
Yeah, besides wake up, usually I wake up and then I'll spend from 8 a.m. to sometimes 11 to 12 just thinking of ideas. If it's not clear what...
You spend 4 hours just thinking?
Yeah.
Like, what does that look like?
Research. Well, I guess it's a lot of research. I'll go on CNBC, CNN. I have... several websites, Wall Street Journal, that aggregate all the data. They pull everything. I can actually show it to you really quick here, just so you can get an idea of just how extensive it updates every few minutes, so that way I get to see everything that's going on.
So you're just basically like, all right, like give me YouTube content.
Correct. So like check this out. So you could see here, every few minutes it updates with a like stocks plummet on heels of FedEx earnings warning. So I think this is a really interesting topic. So FedEx just issued a warning that they're seeing a global slowdown, and shipping could be seen as a leading indicator. So I'll start looking into that story. So now the market's down almost 1.5%.
Not ideal.
Anyway,
so you think for 4 hours.
It's on the cusp. So like if I see a good idea like that, I'll just start planning then. Sometimes it could take me a few hours. Sometimes it takes me a day, but I'll just keep researching. And then I watch a lot of YouTube, so I'll see what people are watching and what they want to see more of, and I'll read the comments, and I'll see like if people are people were commenting a lot about the Bank of America no money down mortgage. So I knew, okay, chances are if I post a video on that, people want to see it. But yeah, a lot of it is just idea creation because you have to for finance not to be boring, you have to come up with ideas that are kind of outside the box and put a spin on it that makes it entertaining to watch. It gives a reason for people to click on it. So that's really tough doing that 3 times a week.
Well, finance is boring, to be honest. Money's kind of boring, but you do a great job of, what's up, guys? Graham Stephan here.
Yeah.
And
what's up, Graham? It's Guys here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so 4 hours minimum, you're nerding out researching.
That's probably the average. Sometimes I could log on and within like a minute, I know that's the video.
Let's assume you found a topic. Does your day always, if you find a topic, like each day has like I'm filming this day, so it's like the first part of filming is researching. So you research and film like the same day. It's like kind of real time.
Sometimes I like to get it done and then I can mentally move on.
Okay.
Sometimes it'll take me 12 hours to plan a video, and then I'm just exhausted, and I'll think, okay, I'll wake up the next morning, I'll film then, and then I can move on to the next thing. But usually for me, I could mentally turn off when I finish filming, because then I know the video's filmed and I've sent it off to Alex, and Alex will handle it from there.
Alex is one of your coworkers.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Yeah. He's the one who runs the podcast, right?
Yeah. And he's editing probably 80-90% of the main channel videos. Some of them I edit myself. Like if we have a last minute video, I'll just do it because I'll just bang it out really quick.
Okay. Yeah. So every day is focused around YouTube.
Yes. Saturday, Sundays will take half days.
Okay. So you don't have any of your days at the moment, because you basically made it seem like, okay, like every day your kind of schedule's very similar, and it's always like, we'll call it social media, whether it be YouTube, you're making content for whatever, one of your platforms, whatever. So it's social media focused every single day. Okay. So
yeah. I mean, there's like real estate might be thrown in somewhere in the day, but I know this is time sensitive. Real estate stuff I can get done afterwards. Like once the market closes, it's a little bit more, stable.
This is like real time. You want it to be like in real time.
Yeah, it has to be.
As there's so let's walk through. So you woken up, you did your research. Let's say in 2 hours you found the thing you want to make a video about.
No.
Okay. So then continue on the day. Then
I get in the zone and plan, and that's no distractions. So I rarely ever check my phone. I close the door. It's like soundproofed.
Yeah, you don't check your DMs, because
I definitely don't check the DMs. But I close the door and I put on music, and I just usually make a coffee, and I will sit there until I get in the zone to plan something.
So what do you mean? Like you're sitting there just like waiting for the inspiration to start?
I'll start typing, but sometimes you're not in the mood to type something out.
So your videos are scripted?
Yeah.
Okay. So
I have to be really careful about what I say, because I want it to be accurate. I don't want to go off on tangents. I want it to be concise. And when you're trying to hold someone's attention for 12 minutes on a finance video, I can't afford just to be like, hey guys, we're talking about this. And any side tangent, you lose someone's attention. Immediately, you're gone. So the entire video is worthless. So I really put a lot of attention into what's the first minute of the video look like? Did I convey the message of the video? How do I explain the topic? How do I make it interesting? And how do I give people a reason to keep watching? There's a lot of thought that goes into making sure I don't waste people's time.
Yeah.
And that I also get out the video in the way that I think would do well.
Okay. So I want to come back to kind of some stuff you talked about, but let's say you've made your topic, you sit down, let's say you get in the zone super quick. How long does it take you to make an average Graham main channel 12-minute video?
The average is probably 6 to 8 hours to plan that.
This is including your writing your script?
No, that's just script writing.
6 hours to write the script?
Maybe more, yeah. Now some, if I'm like in the zone, and I'm talking like it's a topic that is just, I'm in the mood, in the right environment, in the right headspace, and just you feel creative, the least has usually been about 4 hours.
Do you think that's because it takes that long, or are you like slower than you'd like to be, or you're just like, this is how long it takes?
I'm fast. I think I'm really fast for the amount of research that I put in these videos. I mean, I'll show you one of my scripts.
Okay.
I mean, you'll see all the notes, all the because everything, because I make sure when I make a video, I don't like to say like, I'll usually put my thoughts at the end of the video. Like, here's what I personally think is going to happen, but throughout 90% of the video,
it's just facts.
It has to be, because I don't want anybody to come to my video and say Graham is wrong, when I'm like, these are facts and studies that I've found. And of course, I'll give my opinion at the end of it. So I could be wrong at the end. But in terms of 90% of the video, the facts. So I'll give, let's see, next resume. I'll show you one of them that I did. Let's see. I'll give you a good one here. The housing market. I want to see
good. I want to see the best one.
Yeah. So this is one that I knocked out in like 4 hours. But you see all the sources. So every time I make a statement, there is a source throughout the entire video. So I really take a lot of pride in finding my sources, and they're almost all different sources. And so everything has, it's like a research paper.
Yeah, I was going to say you're citing everything. I think your English teacher would be very proud of like your...
So there's a link to every single statement that I say. There's a link to where that source was found.
Okay. And then, so you're done filming, and then what is after you're like, thanks guys, hit the smash that thumbs up button, big smash that thing.
Like the smash button.
Like this, yeah. And then video's done. Then what does the rest of your day look like? Do you start a second one? Do you?
Then it's usually filming for a
cocktail.
No. Then it's usually I'll get back to emails, do all the miscellaneous stuff. Usually then since I'm already filming, I may as well film videos for the second channel. So those are easy. I'll just find some reaction videos, react to those. Like those are so simple. And then usually there's 12 hours, but there's some miscellaneous stuff thrown in. I mean, obviously I got to eat. I try to go to the gym. But yeah, I usually just try to accomplish as much as I can in the day. Cause once you get the momentum going, it's easy to keep going. Like it might take me an hour or two to like ramp up the speed, but once you're there, it's like, you may as well continue. It's hard to get back into that.
Do you think so? Okay. So then the rest of when do you like shut off for the day? I'm trying to...
Depends. Like on a Friday, it could be as early as like 5 p.m., 4:30.
So today you're going to end at like 5?
Probably, and then go to the gym and I'm done. Monday through Thursday could be earliest probably 5 p.m. if there's like nothing else I have to do. Like I'm done for the day, 5, 6. The latest probably 10.
10 p.m.?
Yeah. It just depends on what goes on.
So you're YouTubing from 7 a.m. and now you factor in researching, which can take hours, which sounds kind of boring to like just look at articles.
Oh, I love it.
Really?
To me, that's the most exciting part. I get frustrated when I can't find an idea, but I love the research.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just your entire day, it's 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. And then what do you do? What do you do at night to hang out with Macy?
Yeah. We usually, we'll get dinner. She'll make dinner. We'll do something together and maybe put on a show, watch Netflix.
Do you watch yourself, the Selling Sunset?
No.
No?
No. Now, we watched a few episodes of Selling the OC.
Oh, yeah, it's a new one, right?
Yeah. I mean, I prefer Selling Sunset.
That's because you're in it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Barely.
So you're like was it like a groundhog or something? You just like repeat that day every day. You're just like, that's your day.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I want to go back, something you said. You were talking about how like you don't have to go on side tangents because you're like, I want people to come here for this concise topic. I don't go on side tangents because people are going to be like, hey, I'm here. Like, give me the information that I clicked on the video for. Don't talk. But I think that a lot of like the reason why you're so popular is not only because of the valuable information you give, but also the way you deliver it and you as a personality, right? I could make I could read your scripts and I'm not going to have as much success, right? Same as maybe you could film my stupid vlog videos and maybe, regardless, like, people come to you for a specific reason.
Yeah.
Do you think that like not kind of, when you go on those side tangents, that almost allows you to put your own like personality and like thought into the videos where people are going to kind of connect with you more of like Graham, the information delivering machine, to like Graham, the person that I really like?
No, I'll put it at the end. That way, if people don't care, they've already helped the retention of the video.
Yeah.
I put it at the end, so people know where to go if they want to just go to the last 80% of the video. It's there. Do
you like making the because you have a lot of YouTube channels. You have like your side channel. You do a lot of the react to.
Yeah.
Girl spends $800,000 a day in New York City, right?
Yeah.
And then you have your podcast. You have a lot of different things. What's your favorite type of content to make?
Podcast is close. I would say main channel, podcast, second channel. Second channel, the reaction videos, sometimes to me, it's like, the same thing. I get really excited when I find a new format. For a while, it was like living on X amount, millennial money. Like those are great in the beginning, but, started getting boring after a while. I love what I spend in a day or the day in life. It's just interesting.
I think if you not necessarily made a video, but if you analyzed like my spending, do you have any idea? Were you aware of me at all?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
From when or what?
YouTube.
Oh.
Yeah, I've seen your comments, so I just
You're like, there's this guy just fucking commenting again on the thing.
Good, you got an army of people like go on the podcast, do it, yeah.
Well, it's so my content very fitness focused to start, right? It's like as if if I started in fit or finance originally, and then I kind of stemmed out, and and now I just make content about kind of like whatever I'm doing, which is a lot more, I think, sustainable for me, because I can just film whatever I'm doing. I don't necessarily like, you need to teach me how to do a lat pull down, Max, or I don't care about this video, which is how I kind of like started on YouTube. And I've been doing it it'll be 10 years in January.
Wow.
Like, yeah. And recently that's putting out consistent content. That's not, I've never taken a break. That's minimum. When I say minimum one video a week, there's maybe 6 weeks in that past 10 years where there's only been one video. Usually it's 2 to 4. Yeah. Now it's like 2. I have a lot of other stuff going on, but I think the vlog stuff is like easy for me to maintain. But you kind of used to do vlog-y content, and then you switched to the sitting down. Do you think you'll ever like let people more into your life?
Kind of. I mean, I have a vlog channel where I do that, but I've really divvied it up so that if you go to a channel, you know exactly what to expect and you know the format. So I probably wouldn't switch the format.
What's your vlog? I don't think I've seen your vlog channel.
Graham Stephan After Hours. I stopped posting on there.
That's the problem with having 18 YouTube channels, is like one's going to be like your baby, and then you're not going to give the love to the other one.
That's fair. Because the main channel is a priority anyway.
So yeah, but how can you start a vlog channel and then be like, hey guys, you're going to get these vlogs, and then you're like, nah, I'm not going to get the vlogs.
They'll get a vlog every now and then. They subscribe, and they know when I could post a vlog, or when I feel like posting a vlog, I'll post a vlog.
What are your vlogs about?
Anything. For a while, so for 1 year, we posted once every week, and that was when Jack was living here, which made it way easier because we always had content. Mm-hmm. But Alex would come in during the day. We would film, and then Alex would edit one video a week. But after a while, I was like, the channel's not growing, and we're not attracting a new audience. And I personally was not happy with the content. I felt like sometimes it was a little bit childish. It felt too like family vlog-ish.
What is explain like? What would you do that'd be childish?
Silly. Stupid. Like we tried generic versus store brand. Yeah, food.
Or like generic versus name brand.
Yeah, that was it. And just like taste testing, we had to guess like which. I was like, that's silly. We did like a YouTube trivia thing. I was like, that's not what I'm interested in at all. Like, I would never watch that.
Do you think it's because it's not providing like value or information?
It's not real life. I mean, we would never sit there and like try generic versus store brand. We would never sit there doing like a group Jeopardy thing. I wasn't happy with it. Yeah. And then mentally it was taking away from everything else, because I couldn't watch a video post and not optimize for title, thumbnail, click through, go through the video and be like, I don't like that part. It was spending too much time on that. So I told Alex that we got it down the quality, but post more, because I felt like posting more would help the algorithm. And then I got into a debate with Alex where I'm like, it's easy to post an extra video. I'm going to show you. And so for an entire month, I posted 3 videos a week on that channel, in addition to 3 videos a week on the main channel, in addition to 3 videos a week on the second channel, in addition to a podcast. How many are you editing
of these?
I had all of them.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just wanted to show Alex like, hey, you have the time, you could do it. And so for a month, I did 3 videos a week on the channel, and the channel really did well. All of a sudden, because we were like not gaining subscribers on that channel week after week after week, and immediately we started gaining like 100, 200 subscribers a day. And it just, or maybe, sometimes higher than that. Yeah. As soon as I started posting, and those were just iPhone vlogs. And so I just wake up in the morning like, hey guys, here's what I'm doing today. And I just went throughout the day, and like I get an Amazon package. I'll be like, here's what I got from Amazon. Yeah. Check this out. I got this fake tree, like one of these things. I'm like, let's unbox it. Where do I put it?
That's real life, man.
Yeah, people loved it. And I liked the first person aspect of just iPhone. And that was it. And then I also started filming conversations with Alex and Macy. And I'd ask them, obviously. Macy would come to me and she's like, hey, I'm frustrated with this. And I'm like, do you want to vlog this? Or do you want to, sometimes she'll say, I don't want to. But other times she'll say, yeah, you know what, just do it. And so we'll just have the entire conversation just on camera. And then, of course, I'll edit little bits and pieces and post it. And people really enjoyed that. Yeah. But for me, it was I just wanted to show Alex, like, hey, you could do it. You have the time. Anybody could do it. It was too mentally draining to continue.
Yeah, I mean, you're a content machine these days, man. Yeah. And you switched from not that you don't do real estate anymore, but I would say when I first started watching you were like not only heavy in real estate, you would heavy real estate videos. Now you've just switched to just creating content as the video, not like I'm showing you these real estate things that I'm doing as the content, which is like you're doing real estate in real life, and I'm vlogging about the real estate now. you just do real estate and you don't necessarily like show as much.
It's a smaller market. So when I started seeing the YouTube channel, anytime I see a plateau, I think to myself, how can I break past that? And what does the audience want to see? And initially it was like being a real estate agent. Like those are the first main videos I did. And I realized the market for that is probably 20 to 50,000 subscribers. That's like the biggest real estate agent channels have about that of an active audience.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, now there's real estate investing. Most likely you have an audience of maybe 500,000 people, maybe 1 million people on YouTube for real estate investing. Then you could go into, well, what about stocks? Now you grow that to a total audience of 2 million people, passive income, 3 million people. And so I've kept thinking, what else can I add on that's relevant to these things that would help? So it's just evolved over time.
So your goal is, with YouTube and social, is to reach the largest audience possible. See, I'm kind of, I don't know if it's a bad thing, but like my YouTube channel, if you were to look at my analytics, right, I have a really, really good consistency of views and a very good like view to sub ratio, if you want to like measure that. But in terms of growth, negligible, like the worst growth you probably ever seen. Like I've been in between 350 and 400. I've never touched 400,000, but between 350 and 400 for 2-3 years, like the same number. Like I'm like losing and gaining subscribers and like this thing. And I guess I'm more focused on just entertaining the people that like watch my videos. I make videos for people who watch my content already. Like if you were to click on one of my videos, you'd be like, what the fuck? What is this? Like, what is this guy talking about? Because it's so random, so all over the place. But like, you really have to watch my videos to understand my videos. And it's interesting, talking to people who are focusing on topics that are going to grow the audience, where I do the opposite. Like if I switch to challenges and things like Jesse James West was doing and a bunch of others, and very like audience gaining type of content, but I don't know. I'm more like worry about the people that I have.
That's fair. Yeah, the algorithm changes every few months, like little minor changes. So you have to always I just watch a lot of YouTube, so I see what people are clicking on. And my biggest thing is I go to the homepage and I just refresh. Whatever's on the homepage is what YouTube's recommending. And so if they're recommending something, it must be there for a reason. And I click on those videos and I watch them and I think, what's good about this video? What made me click on it? And just learn from other people.
How do you think the trending page works on YouTube? Because, for example, so you have an interview with Mr. Beast coming out soon, or you're like sitting on that?
I'm sitting on it.
How do you like give the people a tease and it's not coming out for like weeks or months?
So we have a podcast version that is really long. And in there, Jimmy talks about certain things that have not been released yet. And we need his approval prior to posting because we don't want to release anything here before he's able to announce it.
Okay.
But we also want to keep it in there.
Yeah.
So we're waiting on the time where he's like, all right, green light, here we go. We could, because he's talked about some stuff in there that we just don't want to release before he's able to speak about it first.
So Mr. Beast, for example, I would say the largest creator on YouTube, or just the most, I don't know how you'd classify him, just like the most successful views, whatever. But like he's always on like trending page, right? And you would assume that every video makes because he's getting so many views. Like, how do you think the trending page works? Because there's videos that get on the trending page that maybe have like less views in 24 hours than maybe a video you've posted. And you're like, why is
my
this
theory
trending?
Is they're hand selected videos and they're selected videos from YouTube that they think a very wide audience would want to see.
So it's not like who gets the most views.
No. I've heard that. And I've experienced too from the trending page, it doesn't really make that big of a difference in terms of the performance of the video. It maybe helps the video by 10%. And so I think the top video I've ever had, I think was in number 2, 3, or 4 trending.
Really?
And that
wow.
It was the GameStop. Oh, I had 3, I think, that were on trending. The GameStop video is the top one. It was the GameStop Infinite Money Glitch Explained.
Okay.
And I think that made number 2. But I remember looking at my analytics and you see like a little, it's, straight. And then you see like a bloop, like a little bump instantly. And I was like, where's that bump from? And so I look at the video and it's trending. But that little bump was maybe 5%, 10%. I mean, it's not much. And talking to other people who have hit number 1, they say it's, it's cool that it hits the number 1
very
trending
cool
video. And that's something to screenshot and like be really proud of. But in terms of, helping views, it doesn't that much.
Yeah. I don't think it's ever going to happen, but one of my long term, one of my goals of being on YouTube for so long is like to have a video in trending. I don't think it's ever gonna happen. I've done one. See, my videos are very like I get the same range of views on every single one of my videos. Like my dud and my best ever. You're talking 50,000 view difference. It's not like a astronomical number.
Then you would think strategically. If that's your goal, you have to think strategically. How can I make a video that a total stranger would care about watching? And chances are it's a challenge video. Like you got it. So all of my videos I try to make standalone so that if someone comes to my channel brand new, they've never seen me before, they get the full context of the video. They don't need to know, they don't need to have ever watched a video from me before, but they could watch that one video and get everything they need from that one place.
I don't know if the vlogs, the kind of format I do, I don't know if that's possible. Like to come in and try to like make it so that if someone had never seen my videos before, they could understand. Because I relate everything to the last video, to 3 videos ago. Hey guys, I mentioned this in a couple of videos ago. That's why I'm here. Oh, I'm talking to this person that I mentioned here. You know, I try to tie everything together. It's like the video that's going up this weekend. That's like before this podcast is like, oh, we're going to Vegas. I'm going to get this SSD because I'm going to be filming with someone in the finance space. And then next video, okay, hey guys, I'm on the way to film this episode. So it's like a continual
You got to make a standalone video. You can do it.
But then I'm making videos for people who like, then I'm not making videos for my audience anymore.
You don't think they would care? I think they would.
I think if I made a video that is like the super trendy like thing that the mass views would want to see, I think it would be a 10 out of 10.
I think it's moving away from that. You're talking about the, what's up guys? Today we have to do the 5 best days.
I did an intro like that the other day. I did event videos where like, we're going to find out who can survive like the longest underwater in my pool. They're going to win my house and $100,000. And like, it was just like this over the top kind of thing. But like, I think my audience would be like, what the fuck?
I think we're slowly beginning to move away from that. I think we've already seen a peak of that sort of content style.
Yeah.
But everyone does it now, so it's less effective.
Well, so people are chasing the kind of the money on YouTube now, where I started before you could really make money on YouTube. I've been doing this back in the Stone Ages, right? And like consistently, and you know, you switched strictly to YouTube because it's super lucrative. And I know, I mean, your podcast, you're at
320.
$232,000?
I thought you meant subscribers.
Oh, no.
Yeah, like 270, something like that.
That's exciting. And so YouTube became lucrative enough for that. That's like all your focus now.
Yeah.
What would you say, like, to give people an idea of like all of your YouTube channels combined, like a range of like how much you make from AdSense, we'll just say, not even brand deals, just like I make YouTube videos.
2.5 million.
Okay. Yeah. Like that's what you think you'll make this year, or like that's what you made last year, or that's just like
it's been consistent the last 3 years. So
okay.
2020, 21, 2022 will all be about 2.5 million.
And what is a brand deal like? What is a brand deal range? Like if a company hits you up, like I want you to plug whatever on main
ranges,
channel.
I turn 90% of them down.
Yeah.
And the range definitely varies in terms of the company itself. But I want to say I turned the majority of them down. I get so many I get offers probably every few days.
You're a cool guy.
They're good offers. And there've been some that I've just like financially, I'm like, oh man, I hate to turn that down, but I can't. It's either I don't believe in the company enough, or I just think, would I ever use this myself? No. Is this a company that I could benefit people? Probably, but I don't want to take the risk. And then it's like, I don't want every single video to have a sponsor in it. So I have to be really selective that, I maybe only half the videos should have a sponsor in it, because the other half, some of them I want to remain pure, if that makes sense. But like, I want them to be just about the content. I really put a lot of effort into those videos. I'm like, I don't want to have a sponsor in those videos.
And you're making enough money that it's not like you need to rely on the sponsors. But like, what is a sponsorship like?
I can't say with the sponsorships.
There's like a range. There's a range.
I couldn't say, because then if I ever say a range, any other sponsor,
you think it's gonna pigeonhole you?
It would, but then it hurts my leverage anytime I negotiate anything, because there's so many nuances with some of these that if I give a range, they'll say, well, here's your range, we'll offer you this. And sometimes different companies will pay different. So How
about this? I'm gonna say a number.
I'm not going to give any indication. You could try.
Really, even just like really. If I was like kind of close, damn. I thought so. something big. You're big on YouTube about being like the most transparent kind of person.
Yeah, but that would hurt me because it hurts my entire leverage. It's like showing my bottom card at the casino. It's like I don't want to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it has nothing to do with like you because sometimes people don't want to say dollar amounts for any reason, whether how much their businesses are doing, because people will view them differently, which is not the case for you because you're very transparent with how much money you make. You have no problem saying how much you make on YouTube, your portfolio. You've explained your net worth and everything. And but so that's just.
I've always been like that though. Yeah. I've never given specifics for a sponsorship ever, and I'm really glad I didn't, because imagine. They look back 2 years ago and like, Graham, you said you got this for a sponsorship and we want to come in at it. It will hurt on all fronts.
You don't think you have a leverage of just being like, who cares if that's what I got paid?
You would think. I have been shocked in the past.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, okay. I've had one sponsor. I'll tell you this, on the main channel. I locked in. They were one of my first ever deals. I really like them, and they're a really great company. And I locked into a price. And I wanted to renew the next year, and they were really good. And they said, sorry, we could only bump you up. And my channel had grown from 300,000 to well over 1 million. And the views had more than quadrupled. And I said, here's the price. Here's what I'd like to get. Here's what I'm getting from other. They said, sorry, since we have you locked in at this, we could only give you a raise based on a percentage of that. And I canceled. I mean, it made absolutely no sense.
Yeah.
So it's better to keep that a mystery.
Okay. I'm going to ask you after the interview.
Sure.
Okay. Then you'll tell me?
Yeah.
Okay. So with YouTube being super successful, I mean, I'm not going to dive in. I know just recently on the Dave Ramsey video, you showed your entire portfolio of money you have in stocks, investments. And first of all, kudos to you, man, for doing so well at, 32 years old of just massively financially successful. I think it's not only cool to see as someone from my side who's very entrepreneurial and is doing the YouTube, I have a lot of different businesses. I'm not really in the real estate even close to as heavy as you are, but to see someone who's really laser focused and how much wealth you've gained over the years, super cool to see.
Thanks.
And so outside of YouTube and real estate and boring old stocks, right? You started a CPG company, Bankroll coffee. God, this sticky coaster.
Yeah.
And I just finished, and I mean,
it's good. You like it?
I'll say this is the best coffee that I have ever had.
All right.
It's one of the few coffees I've ever had.
Quote you on that.
This is the first iced coffee I've ever had. I've maybe had a sip from someone's cup years and years ago.
It's good.
First full coffee I've ever had. First coffee you ever seen.
Yeah, you're gonna be amped up afterwards.
How much caffeine was in that?
I mean, it's a cup of coffee, so standard 80 milligrams of caffeine, probably.
That's it.
Yeah, it's not much.
That's why people are drinking multiples. I'm having 200 milligrams per energy drink.
Yeah, no, those energy drinks are way more caffeinated, and those have usually B12. They have taurine. They have all these other things mixed in. Sometimes sugars on top of that. This is pretty much just coffee with
just bean water,
small amount of cream. Yeah.
Well, it's fantastic, man.
Thank you.
And so let's talk about the Bankroll for a little bit, because as someone, I own a couple different companies. One is this candy company, and I started it literally 4 days ago, 3 years ago, as of 4 days ago on my birthday. And it's been a whole new world getting into retail and just consumer packaged goods, the space right outside of YouTube. Because I make clothing as well, and that's kind of what every YouTuber does. Kind of started as a merch way back in the day, turned into this clothing line. And I don't know how much you know about the fitness world on YouTube. Everyone has a clothing line. It's maybe I don't know what's a traditional thing every finance person would sell, a course, right? A financial course.
Sure.
That's
okay.
That is to fitness YouTubers as a fitness clothing line. Everyone has their own fitness clothing line. So that's, I started, and then I got into this thing. And how has your journey been on the Bankroll coffee? Because
it's a passion project. It's not something that I started being oh, wow, I'm going to make a lot of money doing this. It was always that I thought it was great branding. I thought it has a lot of potential. I think it's a great product. People like it. We have a 55% reorder rate. So chances are, if you go to Bankroll Coffee and you buy a coffee, 55% of those people will buy again, which is really unbelievably high for a coffee. So I knew that whatever we do make in profit is going to go right back into the business. We started at a terrible time. We started right before coffee prices just skyrocketed. And so we were at this weird point where we had about $1.50, $1.25 or so of margin in every single order or per bag of coffee. that we just reinvested. But then when coffee prices went up, all of a sudden that margin was gone. We had nothing else. So we raised prices slightly, and then we raised the minimum order for shipping just to be able to break even on that. So as of now, it's a business that is going really well, but we're not like trying to make money from it. It's just we're trying to grow it. It's a passion project. We're coming out with teas soon, so it'll be Bankroll tea.
Okay.
Because a lot of people want tea. They don't want coffee.
And you started this because you're the coffee guy, right? You always had a cup of coffee in your videos. Yeah. And that's I think the best way to go about any YouTuber starting. I think more and more as we grow in the YouTube space, everyone's going to start some sort of like product. Like it's no longer just my merch, no longer just this fitness program or finance program. It's going to be a physical product because that is just the future of what everyone's doing. You see it, Logan Paul with the Prime, right? You see everyone making these physical products, whether it be energy drinks. And the best way that I've seen people have success, because a lot of my buddies do it, is taking something that you have like the passion about, and then it makes sense why you did it.
Yeah.
I've been diehard candy guy my entire life. It makes sense with candy. You are the coffee guy. It makes sense you do the coffee. I know Emma Chamberlain also does coffee.
Yeah,
as
Chamberlain
well.
coffee.
And you said in a video you did where it was like shutting Bankroll coffee down or some sort of all your. I'm big in the clickbait and the dramatic titles and stuff. You're like the king of that, man.
Yeah, I mean, how do you make a coffee company update for people to watch it? I sometimes will sit months on thinking of a title, and then once they have a title, then I'll make the video.
I think not only a little side tangent before I did the Bankroll, you like all your thumbnails. You look mildly depressed in all your thumbnails, right? And you reuse the same images on multiples. How come you don't like just shoot like a new one?
Because I'd be doing a lot of the same work over and over and over again. It's like, if you have to write the letter A for something, like you just do it once and use the same letter A. Why do you have to keep doing that every day? It's David Dobrik that I learned that from. When you look at his videos, the same face. Yeah. And I realized like he's using the same face and it works. Let me try that too. And it worked. And so when I take a good picture and I like it, I'll keep using it. Every now and then there'll be videos where I will specifically say, I want to film this for a thumbnail. And usually, sometimes it'll be Alex who gives me this idea. Mm-hmm. But we had one for the car market bubble just popped where he's like, I think it'd be really cool if you had a cardboard sign.
Those do really well.
Yeah. So we're like, all right, let's take the GT out. Let's get a cardboard sign. But like, we'll spend hours on thumbnails. Like there's a lot of work that goes behind it. So when I'm trying to post 3 videos a week and I'll spend 3 hours on a thumbnail, and sometimes
how do you spend 3 hours on a thumbnail?
A lot of thought that goes into.
See, this is why it's interesting talking to different creators because, like me, like my vlogs take a long time, but like you're spending so much time on like super analytical stuff that I don't even consider. Like thumbnail, I'm like 20 minutes. I'm like,
no, I put so much because the thumbnail is what people see for the video. Yeah. So it's like if you have a bad thumbnail, no one's going to watch the video. So it's a combination of. Me and Alex will usually sit there and think, and we just say, how can we convey the message of this video? How can we make it slightly different? What format works? What face works with this? How does the shirt color I'm wearing have enough contrast with the background? Is this too played up? Is it too exaggerated? For a while, everyone was doing flames, and it's like,
flames?
Flame, you put flames in the background.
Okay. Because like the market's crashing. Like,
so we started doing this, and I like to think that a lot of the times we're like near the forefront of like thumbnail ideas, because sometimes there'll be concepts that exist in other niches of YouTube that just don't. Once it's in finance, like everyone does the same thumbnails. But in 2020, it was Jack and I. We were sitting in the backyard trying to think of like what can we do that gets our attention for this like one video. We found this image of like, blue and red flames just like clashing together. It was so ridiculous. And so we thought, man, how crazy would this be if we just throw that in the background of the thumbnail? We did, and did so well because no one had ever done like flames crashing, explosions.
No one's ever done blue flames.
No, it's crazy. So we did that. And it worked so well. We're like, how far can we take this? So when you go through the 2020 videos, like there's one where it's like the end of credit scores. And I think there was a bill in Congress where they wanted to eliminate credit scores entirely because they found it discriminatory. And so I had like a picture of me like cutting a credit card with flames, explosions in the back. And it's like, wow, that video almost did 1 million views. Like, that's nuts. And so we just continued on that, but then it became overused. And all of a sudden, now everyone else in the finance niche watches this video and is like, wow, that thumbnail worked. I'm going to make a thumbnail like that too. And then within a few weeks, it doesn't work anymore because like people have become desensitized to it. So now you have to think, now we're going back to simpler thumbnails. Like, how can you make it really simple? How can you convey the entire message in something that's not overly done?
You're so analytical on them. I will say, last thing I'll say on this, the whole thumbnail thing, I still think there's some conspiracy that you and Andre, y'all put out the same video,
I hate
thumbnail and title similar within like 30 minutes of each other. And I'm like, something is going on.
No, man, I don't like it. It doesn't benefit us that our videos look similar. Like, if anything, we'd want our videos to look different. Maybe it's because maybe
both of y'all are looking at the same,
could be,
like, information
I'll tell you. I mean, the only conspiracy here, he always posts at 3:15. I always post
Jake.
Yeah.
By the way.
Yeah. He always posts at 3:15. I always post at 3:30. Sometimes I'll post at 3. And sometimes he'll post at 3. I post early if I feel like if it's something important to get out or I want to like catch people off guard, I'll post a little bit early. Otherwise, it's 3:30. He always posts at 3:15. So his video comes out 15 minutes before mine. In finance, we're looking at the same things. Chances are, if I see something that's worth making a video about, he's seen it too. And so and he only posts twice a week. So is a very strong likelihood that we'll post the same video.
Okay, so not a conspiracy though.
No,
not you guys are.
No, as far as thumbnails, I mean, we have a similar thumbnail style.
Okay, you're not like, all right, you ready to put the video out? All right, here's
that would hurt us. No, because it's better for us to have different topics. Because if we have the same topic, same thumbnail, your viewers are going to look and say, well, which video do I care about watching more? I'm going to watch
magic on his.
Yeah, he does magic. I can't do magic, but I show you pictures of mantis shrimp as a thank you for hitting the like button. So there's that. But yeah, so chances are it doesn't help, I don't think, that we post the same videos.
Okay.
Yeah.
So big analytical thumbnail guy.
Yep.
All right. Well, okay. So to circle back to the Bankroll coffee. So when did you start this?
2020, I think.
2020. And
launched 2021.
Your whole mission with it was to make the super cheap coffee with a very transparent here's how much the bags cost, here's how much the coffee cost. What's your goal with it? Is it to scale it to, like, do you want to be in Target? Do you want to?
No, I mean,
no.
In a perfect world, we would have 10,000 people on what do you call it, on the subscription plan, which means they'll get coffee on a regular basis, whether that be weekly, every other week, or every month. Like that, my goal.
Yeah, but you had the churn rate on those, which is like just hard to maintain, like a heavy subscription.
People are staying. I mean, we've had very few cancellations. I think once they order and they try it and they like it, they'll keep just getting it and they don't cancel. Like I think that goes into account with a high reorder rate. It's just we have a lot of people.
So your goal is like strictly like direct to consumer?
Yeah, I think it makes the most sense. I mean, maybe we'll scale it at some point, but it makes sense to have the most control when we're the ones being able to ship it ourselves.
Okay.
We'd have to charge more if we were to go in store, because it's just like, then you get all these little people like getting money, and then it's not a $10 bag of coffee anymore.
Yeah, but that's, I think what you're probably learning is like, that's what's, I want to talk about is like your mission to have a super transparent like brand, right? But is that when you're so transparent of like, hey guys, we're only making X to put back into the company, we really need this to make money. But like, if you don't have enough margin baked in to like your product, like you're almost going to do a disservice to the people because you can't scale the company because there's not enough money like in the margin you're making to like scale.
I mean, we could choose to scale, but then we raise prices.
But then you're like having to justify your price raise and justify like, oh, we were the scale, but like we're still kind of affordable. Oh, guys, now we want to go into Target and now we do with pods and we want to go in the retailer. So
I don't
like
think people would care.
You don't think?
No.
You don't think it's okay?
No.
Because going from like the original mission statement to like, hey, now it's twice as much when you could.
I mean, we wouldn't charge $20 back. I mean, there's got to be a fine line between what we could charge and what people are willing to pay. Yeah. We go up too high, people just say, wish you all the best. Like no one's going to be offended. It's just.
You think people would leave if your prices were the same as another popular like coffee brand?
Be competitive? No, yes and no. The core people would pay just because it's me and they want to support me. But as soon as you compete on the like we can't compete on the same level as like Pete's Coffee.
Well, you
like they get a such volume. Like we can't do that.
But you can't compete on a price. Like price differentiation is not like your method to this. It's similar. I'm comparing it to like me getting into candy. Like Sour Strips, the candy is like a premium priced candy, right? It costs more than the Haribo gummy bears, the trolley gummy worms, right? And when I first started, it was like kind of the same kind of thing. Like, oh, why would people pay more for candy, right? But I was like, I can't compete with these Haribos. I can't compete with these trolleys on price. I need to be that premium so I can have enough money to scale it, to get it in every store near you guys. And with you said in 2021, you made $236,000 gross on that. And then it was like 8,500 net, right?
Something like that.
So in order to scale it like this year, would you ever put cash into the business, or is it?
If we need to, but we have enough right now, or we're just launching teas. Yeah. So, but again, it's not a business that I'm like thinking about scaling. It's fun. It's just a passion.
So your goal's just to have like a fun side business, like
for now. Yeah, but there's the option.
You want to dream big with it, man.
I'm so focused on other things. It's like when I think of Bankroll Coffee, I think of a fun project that people could like if they want to support, the channel. Yeah. If they want coffee. But it's not a business where I'm like, okay, we got to do this, and this. At least not yet.
Why do you?
Maybe at some point.
Why do you think that is? Like, why is it because, like you have partners in it, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And so you're not handling any of like the operations. You're just the face of it and Correct. The financial aid if it needs Correct. To be that. Yeah. Do you think because you're not so tied like to the daily operations that like you don't have the same?
No, it's just there's a big opportunity cost for my time, and right now my time is better spent doing anything else other than selling coffee.
This could be the next big coffee brand.
Could be, but you know what? But it exists and it's there, so it's not going anywhere. But it's something that if I decide that okay, now is the time to do it, we'll do it. Mm-hmm. I'm not. Yeah.
Do you think that like the 236,000 in 2021 when you launched? Do you think that could have been more if you did something differently, and like what would you have done differently, or is that was like
no? Oh gosh, I mean we could have done more promotions. I could have done way more shout outs. I make more videos on it, but I don't want that to be like I want to. If I do something like this, I want it to be built separate from myself. Like I don't want to have to be like constantly shouting it out for it to do well.
Yeah, but I think people want to a lot of people will buy Bankroll because you made Bankroll, right? Mm-hmm. Or like you're the guy because they want to support you. And then hopefully that's like a word of mouth that expands into people who just drink coffee, and it's like, oh my God, I just tried this coffee from this guy I watch on YouTube. You gotta try it. Holy shit, it's so good. Like it's the cost is so good. I like the branding of it, right? It looks nice when it sits on my counter. So I think like, and this is just my like as a third party, because I've learned, like I understand you're saying like, oh, it's not worth my time because this other thing is making more money. But I think in the long term, like the potential for Bankroll is great. And I think a lot of your audience, whereas you're maybe making a lot of content that is focused around, the people who click on the video to watch the specific title, like people like I think would get behind you talking more about a company that you own, that you have like a passion for.
It's only so much I could talk about it. I mean, very few updates.
Beans, guys, look at these beans.
There's very few updates. Do you see the table? The table's got beans in it too.
Are these Bankroll coffee beans?
No.
Why are there not Bankroll coffee beans?
No, this was made in Canada. So they got some. They all look the same.
They all do look the same. Yeah. Okay, so the Bankroll, that's just kind of like a side little fun project you have on. And why did you start this podcast?
Jack's idea.
Jack's the
co-host.
Is it like one of your friends that became an employee, or is it an employee that's now your buddy, or like how did that?
Employee now a buddy. He was helping me out in the very beginning. He just sent me an email and needed some help. He helped me with some Facebook stuff. Mm-hmm. And I told him I had this idea where I wanted people to call in to I wanted to create the Graham Stephan show where people called in and I could answer personal finance questions. And so I had him going through those emails and like, hey, Graham, here's a good person. Here's an interesting story. Let's line him up for 9 a.m. this day. And so we did that, and he was just a huge help. COVID happened, and he was like, Graham, I'm not going to college right now. I'd love to come work with you full time. I said, sure, let's try. He'll be 24.
Okay.
And I said, yeah, sure. So we made it work. I had a guest house, and I was like, live in the guest house, and we could just work together. And we did. And within a few months, I think he came to me with the idea for the podcast. And it's like, everyone's doing podcasts. We should do a podcast. Let's just film an episode. Yeah. Sure. And that slowly evolved. And then we started getting guests on. And then I realized pretty quickly that it was a great way to network and a great way to talk to people. Like I wouldn't be the type just to be like, hey, let's go grab lunch. I would be the types of like, hey, come on the podcast. People liked it. I liked it too. I thought it was great networking, and it just grew. It all grew organically through content and just that we had access to and all the equipment that we had.
What's the biggest struggle you found with the podcast, like growing it?
I would say guests.
Getting guests?
Yeah, not getting guests. We approach it very strategically that we don't want just anybody. Yeah. We want to get people that we think the audience would like to see that have a unique message to share. We have a lot of people want to come on the podcast, but we try to get unique people and we don't want this the same thing over and over and over again. So we try to we don't try to post 2 episodes back to back that are similar. So I would say that's the biggest thing is just getting interesting guests as well as figuring out an angle for them. And we can't they could be the most interesting person in the world, but if there's no angle for the podcast, then it's hard to convey why people should watch.
The podcasts are interesting because the more it grows, the more people, like, I don't want to say offended, but I think a lot of people are like, if you don't invite them onto their podcast, like they're gonna be like, why didn't they invite me on? Like I was like, it's some sort of thing. That's what I'm learning with the podcast is, or with mine, which is kind of annoying because I started this. It's called Don't Be Sour. It's this like other, I'm just explaining it. I'm on it. Okay. And it is doing like almost as well as my YouTube channel in terms of like the views, and it's just like grown really well, which is kind of annoying because I put like the most effort into my vlogs, and this podcast, which is like another kind of side of me, is doing super well. And I get that same kind of thing of like, there's a lot of people you could have on your podcast, but you're like, is this going to be interesting to the people watching, not just interesting maybe to you or something? Like you look at it as like a growth tactic, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
I do.
It's just cool, and but the difficult thing is once you've gone through a big list of guests, is then lining up people to make sure you have an episode like every week,
or
every like couple weeks.
Yeah.
How far ahead are you on each podcast?
We've been like Friday. We have to post on Sunday.
What?
Right now we're about a month and a half ahead.
Okay, and you do like an episode a week.
Yeah.
And then you also do with Jack and Alex, you'll do some
midweeks. If there's something interesting, we'll throw on a midweek.
Would you ever, as a main episode, not a midweek, if you're just like, we have no guests, would you rather not upload, or would you just do it?
We do a midweek, but we're not going to get to that point. It's just not an option. No.
Okay. But it's kind of nice. You just kind of come in, you sit down for an hour, and then you don't edit or anything on that.
Yeah. Jack makes sure that's all taken care of.
And you're pretty on Jack about, so he's the one who like handles all of the podcast stuff, right?
Most of the back end, yeah.
Okay. And he started his own YouTube channel, but how come I noticed he has a YouTube channel, but he uploaded like a month ago but then he sees you kind of uploading 6 videos a week. Do you don't think it has any carryover? Like, why have you gotten on him about?
No, I don't. He's doing his own thing.
Yeah.
That's his channel. I don't think he just wants great content like that. He wants to focus on the pod. That for him is fun. It's like for me with Bankroll, that's for him in the channel.
It's honestly, just as an outsider perspective, I watch pretty much all of the episodes of your podcast. I really enjoy it. I watched the recent one with like Sarah Dietschy. Been watching her on YouTube like, since I found her from the Casey Neistat video like forever ago. Yeah. And it's interesting because Jack is someone I found that he's not really like a yes man with your thoughts on like finances and how you spend your money or how you like allocate your work. He's very like, I don't agree with that. Yeah. And it's cool just as like a kind of a random comment of like seeing like the dynamic between you have of your friends, your coworkers that you have. It's really cool to see.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. And something that people probably get on you a lot about is your frugalness, you'll call it. I've thought I was like the most frugal person in the world, like growing up. Like from college, I was just trying to do everything to save as much money as possible. How do you think you got to be known or like as this really frugal guy? I mean, you're saying back in college you would
never went to college.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Back whenever you would get the bottle.
Yeah, like 20, 21.
The $20 or you would buy the alcohol for like super cheap.
Yeah.
And then you would just go get like a water at the bar because you're like, I don't want to spend $5 for then. So have you always been kind of like a frugal guy?
Always love saving money.
Yeah.
It's just something I've enjoyed. It's a bit of a personal challenge. I like it. I don't like wasting money if I don't have to. If I can get a similar experience for less, like I just do it. I like it. That's just who I am.
And so okay. How do I word this? So as you've gained a lot of wealth over from, I don't know, I think your video you said like how I made $1 million or something by like 26, around there. You started doing really well in your mid 20s I don't know you before that. Let's say you started really well in your mid-20s and now you're doing exponentially better than that in terms of just your diversification of all your money and stuff, right? But your decision to be frugal with things has not changed.
I've eased up a little bit, but for the most part, I mean, there's nothing that I really need or anything. It's just I like all you could eat sushi.
Yeah.
I like collecting things, so certain things like that. Yeah.
So what do you do with your money? I mean,
invest it. I love investing, so that helps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just investing in like the market or just in...
Yeah, I see it like as a game where I could I'm going to keep, this much cash on the sidelines, and then I'm going to find a good deal, and then I'm going to buy some index funds, and I'm going to diversify in this way. Like I enjoy
But you're a long-term...
optimizing.
Yeah. You're a long-term... Like, so when you invest, it's like that money's staying in there for a long time.
Yeah.
Okay. But so you spend your money on... You have a very beautiful home. I don't know if people know the studios like at your house, which is like... gorgeous home.
Thanks.
You have a couple cars. I know you have some nice watches. Is that like pretty much the only things you spend like a lot of money on?
Kind of, but all those keep their value. Like the house is a great investment.
Yes.
This house I put I 15% down on this house, but then I rolled my commission into the down payment, so I put down like $100,000, and the house is worth $1 million more than I paid for it. So like that was a good deal, and the car is worth 30% more than I paid for it. The watches are worth more. So like I buy things strategically that I know will either keep their value, be worth more. And that for me is like a fun sort of like, well, what's going to be a good deal? I like that.
So a lot of people who maybe don't have the same mindset of, trying to chase exponential wealth as like their main goal, right? You're a big fan of stacking cash, like stacking, your everything growing in your finances. For people who maybe don't have that, like, I guess, at what point do you think you're going to have like enough where you can be like, instead of...
There'll be diminishing returns, you know, if it's like, if you have $1 billion and you make 10 grand a day, it's a lot less impactful than if you have, $500,000, you make 10 grand a day. So there'll be a diminishing return. And at that point you decide, but every day for me is different. I'm sure I'll feel different a year from now.
Yeah.
With certain things. So, right now I'm just on that path. And for me, as soon as I stop enjoying something or as soon as I want to do something different, I will.
And so you're a huge fan you're big on the index funds and ETFs. Why do you preach that to most people?
I like the fact that they're really diversified and like you can't go wrong with an index fund. And that's what I really like about it. People suck at picking individual stocks. They could be a genius for a year, 2 years, 3 years, but long-term, every single study shows that even the most talented people in the world cannot consistently beat the stock market. So why try? Then you also have people like Peter Lynch, who's beat the market for decades. But then people say, well, when you have such a large data set, there are going to be those outliers who just by chance beat the market, and that could have been Peter Lynch. So I just think in the big picture, so few people do it. I mean, maybe there's a dozen people in the world who could beat the stock market consistently.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those people. Chances are you're not either. And so it's better just ride the entire market as a whole and get a better return than almost every other investor.
I have 2 portfolios. I have my Vanguard, which is, I guess, now my smaller one, but it's like my super smart bunch of VOO, VTI, like all the super smart stuff, right? And then it has a couple, Microsoft, Apple, like I have that, some airlines, like just like more of like my more strategic one, and it's doing very well.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously not with the past couple months,
Sure.
but even I invested long enough ago that it's still very much up, even in this big decline. Then I have my Robinhood, where I've tried over the past couple years to win at the stock market. Very much losing at the moment. I've tried, buying these stocks that are like spiking, and then they drop, and I'm holding the bag on a lot of this stuff, and it's a very humbling experience when you lose like hundreds of thousands of dollars when you're like trying to, because you're winning for a bit and then it just goes, you're like, it'll go back up. It'll go back up. And then you're just
right.
Now I'm to the point where I'm like, do I sell some of these and just like write a loss off, or do I just might as well just hold on to them and see if they go up over the next couple of years? I don't know. What's your thoughts on that? If someone if someone has a stock that's really down that they bought from some random thing on the internet they saw, do you think it's better to hold? Let's say they're down $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 or more.
Well, the only way to look at it is, would you buy that stock today?
well, now it's lower. Be like, I can lower my entry point.
Yeah, but you got to think. Let's just say it's stock A, and it went from $100 to $10. Would you look at that stock A and be like, if I had $10, I'd buy it right now for that price? If the answer is yes, then hold it. The answer is no, I wouldn't buy that. Then sell it.
Take the loss.
Take the loss.
Take the L. Did you buy any of the AMC? Did you buy any of those?
No. The worst stock I bought into is Coinbase.
Yeah.
So but you know what? Like I don't put a ton of, like, when you think in proportion to the entire portfolio, like, we're talking, I don't know, 1% or like less than that. So it's not, it's enough where it's just like, hey, that sucks. But it's in the big picture. I'm not putting a ton of money into these companies. It's just like it's always a very small percentage of everything.
I think if you looked at my Robinhood portfolio, I think you would slap me. I think you'd be like, Max, why in the world did you put that much money into like those stocks? And I'm just down bad on the Robinhood.
Yeah.
But I think if anyone listening, if you're down bad, it can only get better or it can get worse.
Oh, it could keep getting worse. I mean, that's the thing. You could see that, and then you could still be down another 50%. But that's why I like index funds. I mean, sure, the upside's not going to be there. It's like if an index fund goes up 10%, chances are a lot of the other stocks are going to be up 20. But when those stocks are down 20, the index fund's only going to be down like a few percent.
Yeah, it's cool to see how people. I think the longer you get into stocks, you'll win for a little bit, but then in the long term, you'll be like, wow, those boring ETFs that are only growing 2 to 5% at a certain rate, where the other ones are growing like 30%. You're like, over the long term, you're like, I wish I had just put all my money into these like really smart ones. So it's interesting, seeing, you're doing super well on all your portfolio stuff. And I get kind of the last thing I want to talk about is your relationship with Macy, newly engaged, right?
Right.
How has your life changed after? How long were you single before you met her?
How long has it been? The last serious relationship I had prior to her was, I could barely remember. I don't know, 6 months before a year.
6 months or a year before you met her?
Before I met her. I mean, I was dating.
Okay. Were you always a relationship guy?
Generally, yes. But at the time I met her, I was like really stoked about being single. And like, I just felt so free and be like, yeah, this is awesome.
I can make YouTube videos all day.
I could do whatever I want all day, and I could stay up as late as I want. I was really stoked on being single, but as soon as I met Macy, I'm just like, all right, well, this is it.
Yeah. And I'm assuming she's very understanding of your kind of like lifestyle of, I'm going to be on working YouTube stuff.
It was definitely I don't want to say a learning curve, but we definitely had to learn each other's styles in terms of that, like what's important. I think in the beginning there was definitely some clashing, because I had always been so just, well, I'm going to be up until 3 doing this. This was what I have to do. And she came from the mindset, it's like, well, it's 6 p.m. You should be done. It's like, and I'm like, that's not how it works. So there was definitely, I think we both learned from each other's perspectives through that, and we've found at least a balance that works for us now.
Give and take, yeah.
Yeah, where it's, if I need to work late, I'll work late. But I also make a very reasonable effort to try to finish up early if I can, and make sure that we spend time with each other.
Okay. And I want to know your thoughts on this, because you're interesting with your finances. You're doing super well, but like you have the frugality in a relationship. How did she kind of like accept of like, hey, this guy's doing extremely well, but hey, we're not gonna be living this, like, we're not going to the Nobu every weekend kind of thing.
And she's frugal too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's super cool. I mean, that's how you like, when you meet someone that's like, you mesh super well.
Yeah, exactly.
What's your thoughts on sharing finances in a relationship?
It's not for me. I think it can make sense in certain situations. I think what probably makes the most sense, both people have their separate accounts, their separate finances, and they have one joint account that they could share some expenses with. That I think makes a lot of sense. But other than that, I'm personally, I'm very independent. Yeah. And I respect the fact that someone else is also independent.
So if she lives here now, lives at your house, right? When she moved in, were you like, I'm going to charge you rent?
No.
We're going to split
like
anything? You're just like, I own this house before you. It's just, you just stay here.
Yeah. I mean, the house is in my name, but, I don't ask anything. A lot of these things, she wants to contribute. She wants to be a part of it. She just doesn't want me to be like, okay, well, here's money. It's she's very independent from the beginning.
Yeah.
And she was always very insistent. She's like, well, since you take care of these things, let me get the groceries. We have a house cleaner come every 2 months. Maybe let me get the house cleaner. Let's split that. So certain things like that, I really respect that. But no, I'm not asking you to pay rent or anything.
Because some people, like there's some guys that would look at it as like, oh, this person's come in, they're like, now they're just living like rent free, like you.
Oh, I don't care.
Yeah. And do you ever? What are your thoughts on when you go out to eat? Is it always like just occasionally like y'all swap, or do you split the bill, or you're just getting it every time?
No, we never split. It will usually be something where I will usually assume that, hey, it's on me, but she'll want to contribute and she'll get the meals that she wants to pay for. So it's whatever. When she does that, I'm not gonna be like, no, you're not gonna do it. If she insists, I'm happy for it. But I go in thinking, it's my treat.
Every time?
No, I mean, it doesn't work out like that. I would say probably 80%, 70% of the time I'll be treating, and then 30% of the time she'll get, like if we go to Chipotle or something like that, she'll usually treat for Chipotle. But if we go to like a nicer place, then I'll pay for it.
Yeah. Do you just look at it as like, I'm going to be living this type of whatever life I want to live, eating at these places, doing these things throughout the day. You kind of came into my life, so it's like it's not that big of a deal to just like now you're just.
I mean, chances are, if it were up to me, I'd just be eating at home. probably all you could eat sushi. But like before I met Macy, it was just like I was eating like 3 eggs, cheese, and ham for dinner, and I just eat that. Yeah, I'd eat that plus oatmeal. Like I'm so simple. Like I would just eat that all day. So usually I do that and then go out to eat maybe like once a week. But it's fun. It's fun for her and I.
And have you found that being in a relationship is, switching up your workload, maybe working slightly less? You're still cranking out the hours, but like working slightly less. Do you enjoy it, or do you feel like is there any stress of like, oh man, while you're watching Netflix with her, like to give her quality time, you're like, man, I wish I could like.
Yes.
Yeah,
that happens. But I feel like it's a balance. It goes both ways. Sometimes I'm like, I'm really happy. And other times I'm thinking like, I want to work more. So I do find a balance between the two. And there's some days where I'm just like, I got to work late, then I got to get this video out. It's really important. She's understanding of it. Yeah. But then there are other days where it's like, let's just take a full weekend off and do something. So I think it's a balance.
Well, that's cool, man. It's good to see you happy, and good to see, like balancing, especially an entrepreneur, like balancing relationship stuff. I was single for like 7 years, and then I'm in a very happy relationship now. It's been 9 months in. It's like, I've had to shift my life, because at first I was like, girl's going to slow me down. I got to make YouTube. I got to do all these things. But it's like, you kind of just, it works out.
Yeah.
And it's cool to see.
They'll make it work.
Yeah. And last question I want to kind of leave you on is, what would you tell the younger audience if they see people like you, they see people they watch on YouTube doing extremely well, and what's the best financial advice, as a very broad type of piece of advice that you would give like the younger people of like building wealth?
For building wealth, I would say it's this boring advice: to track your finances, cut back, invest. If you want to make a ton of money, chances are you have to do something for yourself. So you have to do something in sales, a business, or something that you could scale if you want to make a ton of money. But you have to also really like it. And I think a lot of people like the idea of it, but they don't want to. It's not for them.
Especially social media nowadays.
Yeah. So you have to be the type where you like that inconsistency. You like that risk. You like the chance that you'll work years without making $1. Most people like the upside, but they don't want that. And I think for some people, honestly, you're best off just like getting a stellar job in a place that you love, doing something with people that you really enjoy being around. Like that's better for probably a lot of people.
Yeah.
But for the others, it's like they'll be bored in that. They don't mind potentially working for free for a while. Then I think you have to do something that you could scale.
I think that's some lovely advice, man.
Cool.
And is there anything you have next coming up? You want to leave the people like a little teaser? Anything cool?
You got to hit the like button and subscribe to find out. How's that?
Well, I'm going to wrap this episode up. I hope you guys enjoyed it. All of Graham's 17 channels are going to be linked down to the description. I'm going to put definitely obviously the podcast. I'm going to put the coffee down there, which I think if people are into coffee. Again, best coffee I've ever had in my entire life.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Cool.
It was
I don't know why that's so sticky today.
I think you got to put like salt on the thing that makes it not sticky there.
Cool.
But that will wrap up episode 20. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're watching on any sort of, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you comment, subscribe, hit the like button. That's a comment.
Sure,
like,
yeah.
I'm nervous being in someone else's zone. If you're on any sort of podcast streaming service, give it a 5-star review. Don't know what that does, but I think it helps out. And I can't wait for you guys to see what we have coming in the next episodes. Thank you so much for tuning in. Eat more sour strips and ever forward.